number ones, for the Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud. You know what? I wouldn't like it, but yeah, I got my quarterback of the future. Whatever it takes.
It's Football Full Circle with Ben Stevens and Scott Wetzel. Weekdays noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sense digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese.
No, Rufin!
Follow me at Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The early line.
Still find it interesting that the Chiefs are the second favorite. The Chargers got infinitely better this offseason, and I will absolutely be firing on the Chargers to win the AFC West this year. I'll do it again. I will do it again. So write it down. You heard it here first. Save the tape. We can mark it down on March 12th, first day of the league year. Zeno told you the Chargers are winning the AFC West this year. That is the bet to make.
It's The Early Line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. Remember when your high school football coach would ride you hard, just waiting for you to screw up, and he'd tell you to take a lap? Again? And then you didn't play football. No, that's cool. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Carver and Lisi with you. SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. Great to have you with us on a Wednesday night on the grid. A very, very busy Wednesday night. There's a ton going on. College basketball madness. Games up the wazoo. Tournament action. Championship week a few days away from Selection Sunday and getting the brackets for the big dance. But we have all these conference tournaments going on tonight and the rest of the week. I've got a couple of them working here. We'll get you up to date on everything that's happening in a moment. So we have lots of college rack to do. There's some NBA games tonight. There's a couple of hockey games. We have the Players' Championship being off tomorrow morning. So we've got to get you involved with the golf as well. It is a Mike Carver with you. Sans Joe out on assignment. It is a Carver and sometimes Lisi evening on CNL, of course. And that means that we do have a couple friends stopping by. Brady Cannon will be here later this hour as I'll go over the players with him. And then we will also have in hour number 2, our buddy George Kurtz. Lots of football moves. We'll get some puck action from him as well. You know that Hit Burbell is in the mix as well. And I know he's having, sometimes technical problems happen from time to time. Not the usual open. But Matthias found a way with the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Now, I wouldn't say, Matthias, I'd want to make that the permanent Carver and sometimes Lisi open. But we may have to eventually come up with an open just for Carver and sometimes Lisi. We might have to eventually tag something to that since it's so often now that it's Carver and sometimes Lisi. We'll have to do some work on that. He is busy tonight. I don't even know if he's going to be talking back. There he is.
I'm ready to roll. And you're right. I'm great. I'm ready to roll. And you know what? You're right. We do need to get a new tag song for Carver and sometimes Lisi on a Wednesday. A new project.
Sometimes Lisi on a Wednesday. We'll have to get it here. Let me start things off by letting everyone know what's going on. and that is specifically with some of these games that are cooking in these conference tournaments. Here's the one that's already causing me a problem. DePaul leads Georgetown 60-55 at the Big East. And what do you know? I'm on Georgetown. So they got a lot of work to do with 8.5 to go. And, of course, this is another one of these, it's not bad enough that we're on them pregame. We had to just keep, like Vermont last night, smash, go in for more. So, if Georgetown can, just win the game, that would be good enough. But they're in a fight here with DePaul. 13-18 this year. But sometimes, you throw the records out when you get to championship week, as we've seen in a few. And this kid on DePaul, this number 35, he just keeps completely smashing Georgetown underneath the boards. This Benson, 35 for DePaul. He must have scored their last 10 points, and they're up 7 now as they are extending. And that is bad news for the Hoyas here out at the Garden. Elsewhere, Smash City. Me and Joe talked about this last night. Mississippi State up 20 at the half on LSU, 44-24. So they're taking care of business down in Nashville. Final of the Patriot League. American leads Navy by 9 at the half, 37-28. So the winner of that game will find themselves in the bracket on Sunday night when they are released. Air Force up on UNLV at the half, 25-21. Now, as you know, Air Force, they are horrible. 4-27 this year in the Mountain West. UNLV 17-14. The game's on their floor. Can we get a status check here of what they're giving us live for UNLV? Tell you, they're giving you Georgetown plus 4.5 live right now as well. We're going to stay away from that. We've gone in enough. Still UNLV minus 5.5, and they're down 4 at the half. UNLV minus 5.5. This game, of course, closed at 11.5. UNLV was laying. So no faith in Air Force to keep things going there. Baylor up 18 on Kansas State. Smash City in the Big 12 that second round game. With about 16 and a half minutes to go in that one. And the other game that is live is in the ACC. They're at the half where Stanford has a 38-32 lead on Cal. I like Stanford in this game. We're on Stanford. Cal's played a lot here over the past couple days. They played a 4-overtime game with Notre Dame on Saturday, double overtime game with Virginia Tech yesterday, and now playing their bitter rivals here, Stanford, and they're down 6. They actually did get out to a little bit of a lead, but not a good scene for them right now. How about Iowa finishing off an upset of Ohio State at the Big Ten tournament? So Ohio State, who was a bubble team, loses to Indiana this past weekend. Now they lose their opening game at a Big Ten tournament against Iowa. And I'm going to have to check as the night goes on some of the gurus, the bracketologists out there, and see if that is maybe going to be a problem for the Buckeyes come Sunday. And Iowa now gets themselves move on. I believe they will play Illinois tomorrow, if I remember the Big Ten bracket off the top of my head, which I try to this week. You always important who the team that wins, who they're playing the next day. McNeese won the Southland tournament as well, a 9-point win over Lamar. Lamar with the cover, if you had him with the 12.5 there. And we have a lot of games to come tonight in college basketball. USC and Rutgers, that'll be the next game at the Big Ten. You have also got Seton Hall and Villanova, the final game at the Big East. Oklahoma and Georgia, the late game at the SEC. UCF and Kansas, the late game at the Big 12. Syracuse and SMU, the late game at the ACC. Couple of Big West games tonight in Henderson. We talk about the Big West a lot here on Carver and Lisi because it's a conference that we zero in on because they play late at night when we're on. And we have 2 games tonight, including the Gauchos, who are taking on Bakersfield and laying 5.5 in the first game. And then Cal Poly and UC Davis in the nightcap. And I've already gotten the hit for bell tip of the night. What the hell did you call Cal Poly? They got some other name that I had never heard before in my life. What'd you call Cal Poly?
The locals, the cool kids, they like to call it SLO. Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. That's where it's located over here. It's Cal Poly, obviously. San Luis Obispo is the area, but the school is Cal Poly. So if you're going to school down here and say, hey, where you going? I'm going to SLO. SLO.
Going to slow.
Slow.
You got there you go. You got the short form name for Cal Poly for all the locals from Matthias, and it sounds like he's banging the drum for Cal Poly tonight in a very late night game against UC Davis. We'll see. You got a Big Sky championship game tonight with a really good game. I know everybody's checking in with the Big Sky all the time, but the 1 seed Northern Colorado taking on the Grizz of Montana. And you're getting the Grizz right now catching 2.5. The Grizz are very tough to beat in that tournament, as we know. So a tough challenge for Northern Colorado this evening. We gave you the Grizz last night. That was a smash city job that they had. Who'd they play last night? Idaho State, right? That late night game? It was Idaho, 78-55. Smash play for Montana last night. Absolute smash play. So we have a lot going on. Hopefully DePaul can get their, Georgetown, can get their act together. And we can get a little rally from them in that. We have NBA 2, including this big game with the Thunder and the Celtics. Two of the best teams in the NBA. 33-30 Thunder lead at the end of the first quarter. So you have that going on. SGA with 11 in the first quarter. That's like him. Derek White with 3 threes already for them. Horford with 3 threes. Celtics hit 9 threes in the first quarter, so that's been moving the needle for them. We have a lot going on. We got the golf tonight. We'll do some football with George later. All happening. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back after this.
What's it take to get the winning edge? Not a lot.
Just don't be dumb.
Remember, it's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sense digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese.
No, Rufus!
Follow me at G Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The early line.
Still find it interesting that the Chiefs are the second favorite. The Chargers got infinitely better this offseason, and I will absolutely be firing on the Chargers to win the AFC West this year. I'll do it again. I will do it again. So write it down. You heard it here first. Save the tape. We can mark it down on March 12th, first day of the league year. Zeno told you the Chargers are winning the AFC West this year. That is the bet to make.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. Everybody's fighting for your attention. And all you want is some no-nonsense information. We hear you. And you should hear us. We're your trusted source for gaming, odds, and more. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
What's the deal here? They give this kid the basket or what? Or they call the foul before that? I mean, they got the putback, and then he gets two-handed in the back. What'd they call here? And they're putting him on the line. So 7-point game. This kid Peavy better make these free throws now because they had a bucket right behind him. 6.5 to go at the Garden in New York City. The Big East tournament, a tradition unlike any other. This kid misses the first free throw. Like, why are we doing this every night? Why do we put ourselves through this? Watching these college kids that can't make free throws. We do it every March. We sit here And we get involved in this stuff, and none of these kids can make free throws. It's sick. Sick. But it's part of, I guess, why we love it. The unpredictability of it. Like, he made one of them. He made one. So 6-point game now. Like, come on. How about getting some stops? Can we get some stops against this DePaul team? Not exactly Duke we're playing here on the other side. I mean, come on. Now, Matthias made a good call during the break. There is a game I like a lot later, and that's Rutgers. Now, to be fair, Matthias, the reason I like Rutgers isn't that great. Because it hasn't made sense to me all year that look at this, and then one. Like, oh my God, this is getting worse by the second. Oh, Georgetown, they suck. This is why we've seen these all games like this the last 2 days. These first couple days of these conference tournaments are all teams that suck. That's why they're playing on Tuesday and Wednesday. These teams all suck. And it's like the Virginia Tech Cal game yesterday, the West Virginia Colorado game today. Like, all these teams all suck. So you're going to get what you're going to get. This D'Amico with 10 points now, 8-point lead for DePaul as they go for the line, and he makes it for the 9-point lead. As I was saying, Matthias, the reason I like Rutgers is really the reason. I mean, it's perplexed me all year why they haven't been better than they are, because they have like 2 guys that are going to go in the top 5 of the NBA draft with Bailey and Harper. So it really is bizarre that they were so bad this year. But when you get into these one-and-done games like this, and especially when a bad team like USC, like, Rutgers has the 2 best players on the floor. That's it. Like, that's it. In these games, these early tournament games, sometimes that's all that matters. So I'm with you. It's Rutgers for me later on.
I like them for the same reasons. No, I like them for the same reasons. And you know what? These players like to play big in these tournaments. That's when they even play bigger. Yeah. And that's where other players fade. That's where guys fade and they don't play the same way that they've been playing in the regular season and Big Ten Conference play. Once you get to the tournament and the lights get a little brighter, that's where guys like Harper and Bailey show out. It's a great game for them to start off, too, against SC. It's going to be – I think it'll be kind of high scoring. The crowd will be into it. It's going to have a tournament vibe. I enjoy the Big Ten tournament for that reason. We're going to see who's real and who's not. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to be going after Michigan the second that they play. I know that they got a bye because they ended up with a top 4 seed with Wisconsin, losing at home in that final game of the season. So now Michigan has to wait. But whoever gets that Michigan Wolverines basketball team, man, enjoy that one, because that team is sinking, Mike, sinking fast in March.
Yeah, they are sinking. I'm not going to lie to you. They were tough to watch coming down the stretch. Very tough to watch. And it's stunning that they even have one of the 4 byes in that tournament. It's pretty hard to believe, but they do. We just keep firing away.
Wisconsin lost to Penn State. Wisconsin lost to Penn State on national television in Wisconsin on Sunday. Unpredictable type stuff, because Penn State has been terrible in the Big Ten this year.
Terrible is what they've been. Now, they actually have the double bye, so they don't play till Friday, right? How about a foul there? You can't call a foul on that kid? What are we doing here? Come on. Here comes Georgetown's trying to get pumped up as they just had a steal and a dunk. But that's like the first offense they've had in like 10 minutes. So they can get as all excited that they want. Their offense is pathetic. So they can get all. Now, they don't play till Friday, correct? Yeah, Michigan plays the last game Friday night.
Till the last. Exactly.
So that means that they are going to play the winner of Purdue and USC Rutgers tonight. So Rutgers USC is going to play Purdue tomorrow, and then the winner of that game will play Michigan. So Michigan's the last team that's going to play at the Big Ten tournament late Friday night here while we're on. So that'll be tipping probably or starting right around when we're finishing up on Friday night, Matthias. You'll be very excited for that. If it's Purdue will beat them. Purdue beat Michigan Friday night. You know that. I don't have to tell you. You see the writing on the wall.
Of course, they got a guard. They got a guard in what did Braxton Smith? who could completely dissolve that Michigan, all the Michigan guards. Michigan has had a problem with guards all season long, and now they're being exposed, Mike. They're being exposed now in the last couple weeks. What's happening? You're watching bad basketball. Bad basketball leads to stressful
that's what it comes down to. It leads to bad basketball. There's another layup for Georgetown. All right, they've got this to 5. They're going to tease me here, Matthias. You know that they are. They're going to tease here. 3:44 to go. They're down 5. They've actually gotten a couple of stops and made baskets at the other end, which, watching the last 10 minutes of this game, is pretty unheard of for Georgetown because of how rough they are. So we'll see if they can finish the job here and get back into it. American now up 11 on Navy. Here comes UNLV. So I'm in now, Matthias. I under the hat, not really under the hat, I told you. They were down at the half to Air Force, 4-22 or 4-25 Air Force. So we're in on UNLV to win, and we put it with Rutgers, and we put it with the Gauchos. Anything else? Yes, I'm not done. And we put it with, I think we cherry.
What about Georgia? What about some love for Georgia against Oklahoma? Georgia.
You know, me and Joe were texting about this game earlier today because I did speak with Joe for a little while because me and him were so upset about how Notre Dame was so pathetic that they couldn't even come close to that over in that game this afternoon. And we were talking about the Arkansas game as they tried to yak that up. So Joe was on Iowa plus 5.5. So a winner for Joe with Iowa. But he's on Georgetown minus 4.5 with me. And he's on Kansas State plus 5.5, who's getting smashed by Baylor. They're in big trouble. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. We'll get into the golf later this hour as well. The Players' Championship, DPC Sawgrass, the 5th major. We'll get Brady in later with the picks. We're back after this.
Are you retired like me, and you just found out you owe the IRS a ton of money? Well, what would your life be like if they took your retirement savings away from you? They can do it, and your property. If you owe the IRS back taxes or you haven't filed in a while, the Tax Relief Line is here to help you. They can stop the IRS from taking your retirement savings. If you qualify, you could have your tax bill reduced to 0. That's right, if you're retired and you owe the IRS a lot in back taxes, you could have your entire tax bill reduced to 0 due. The IRS has now hired thousands of new employees, so they're ready to come after you. Don't let
Football Full Circle.
But I'll ask Washington Commander fans, would you give up 5 number 1s for Jaden Daniels? You know what? Knowing what I know now, probably. Would you give up 5 number 1s, for the Houston Texans, CJ Stroud? You know what? I wouldn't like it, but yeah, I got my quarterback of the future. Whatever it takes.
It's Football Full Circle with Ben Stevens and Scott Wetzel. Weekdays noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
1966, Bobby Holt scores his 51st goal of the season, setting a new record.
And the crowd goes wild here in Chicago. Bobby Holt has broken the all-time scoring record of 51 goals in a single season, and the crowd are going crazy.
The Golden Jet was selected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1983. For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
You've heard of smart bombs, smartphones, smart cars, smart watches, and smart glasses. Now you can add smart player, giving you sports gaming strategies and information 24/7. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159 on a Wednesday night. Carver and sometimes Lisi Wednesdays here on the grid. I mean, this kid on DePaul, he just threw up a brick. Come on now, Matthias. Come on. Press him here. Let's go. Get another bucket. Put the pressure on this DePaul team. They'll crack. They're 13-18. It's a garbage basketball team. Another layup to the rack. He tries to dunk it, and he's fouled. Now, this is the same kid who missed the front end, this Peavy. Can he make 2 this time? Can he make 2? For once? Come on here. Give it to us here. Did he get one? All right, you're ahead of me, Matthias. So you're spoiling the fun here for us. 65. It's better if I don't know, and then he misses, and I go nuts. I mean, if you had totally missed right now, imagine
I'm on the Gamecast, Mike.
Then.
I'm on the Gamecast, Mike. I'm on the Gamecast here.
Show on me here. I mean, you're trying to get me all riled up. I mean, come on. This UNLV team. They got it to 2. Now it's back to 5. Come on. Let's go. What channel is that on, Matthias? Who's showing the Mountain West games? Are they on anywhere?
That's usually CBS Sports Network. CBS Sports Network usually takes care of them.
They have Navy American. They have the Navy American game on. You can't get the Mountain West game anywhere?
For which game?
Streaming it somewhere? Air Force and UNLV. I mean,
wow. No. No, I don't think anybody. Nobody. I think we have to go to the school website for those ones. To the school stream.
You're gonna have to stream them on the school website in order to see.
Like Division 2 basketball status right there. Division 2 status right there.
What are we doing? What are we doing now? Who'd this go out on here? They calling a timeout or what's happening here? Or are they walking to the other end? Looks like a timeout. 65-62. DePaul's up. All right, Joe just sent me in. This is a Joe bomb for tonight, Matthias. You ready? For everyone out there who loves Joe's parlay bombs, here you go. Oklahoma plus 3.5. Now, I like Oklahoma too. Sounds like Matthias likes Georgia, it sounded like when he brought that game up. How about Georgia? So I like Oklahoma as well. So Joe's on Oklahoma plus 3.5. And see, here's where Joe gets greedy. He's so greedy. And we do this all the time. Anthony Edwards for 30. And Karl Anthony Towns for 30. Oklahoma plus 3.5. He just texted me the slip. Oklahoma plus 3.5. Anthony Edwards for 30. Karl Anthony Towns for 30. Plus 1342 for Joe. Joe's going deep tonight with this one. He's trying to make it happen. So we give him credit for that. I did check with some of the gurus, the bracketology gurus, and I know I saw Lenardi said Ohio State finished, chopped, and it actually moved North Carolina to the inside. So he moved North Carolina to in the field and moved, and I think North Carolina's going to win tomorrow. They're playing Wake Forest. So if they could do that at the ACC, they'd be in even better shape. They knew they were finally going to hit one. DePaul's been bricking these threes. They for some reason with a lead, they keep chucking up threes. And they finally made one to extend it back to 6, 68-62. They're 4 of 11 from 3, and now an awful turnover. Wheels coming off the bus for Georgetown fairly quickly now. It's getting ugly. It's just not going to happen for them. Tough to see. American now up 17 on Navy. Cal takes the lead on Stanford. Look at Cal showing a little gumption here in the second half. 55-54. Looking to get involved. So Cal's making some moves as well. As far as NBA, Hawks up 47-43 on the Hornets. Raptors up 51-35 on the Sixers. I know I said last night no more NBA for me, but I was trying to throw a bomb with Grimes for 30. He's got 11. We could use a little bit more. Can he get to like between 15 and 20 by the half? Maybe. Thunder now up 48-45 on the Celtics. That game is in Boston this evening. How much SGA now? SGA is being a massive big fan. I only got 11. Had 11 in the first quarter. He got no points in the second. That's because I got him for 30 tonight. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back on the grid right after this.
Get the winning edge with sports gaming strategies and expert information.
In other words,
it's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Smarter is better.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The Early Line.
Still find it interesting that the Chiefs are the second favorite. The Chargers got infinitely better this offseason, and I will absolutely be firing on the Chargers to win the AFC West this year. I'll do it again. I will do it again. So write it down. You heard it here first. Save the tape. We can mark it down on March 12th, first day of the league year. Zeno told you the Chargers are winning the AFC West this year. That is the bet to make.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with sign agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-587-4281. 800-587-4281. 800-587-4281. That's 800-587-4281.
The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts, in-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more, all in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime, on the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. It's hard to get a straight answer to anything these days, but when you need an expert on sports gaming strategies, you've got us. We give you actionable insights and perspectives on daily sporting events. Keep listening, keep winning. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. Sirius XM 159. So, this kid Peavy again, I guess he's the only one that scores on Georgetown. He just made another bucket, and he was fouled. So he's going to go to the line with a chance to get it to 3. Now, they've given up some buckets to last. This kid's a 65% free throw shooter. But he makes lots of buckets. Let's see what he does here. He made it. 3-point game, 50.4 seconds left. Can I get the reverse of yesterday? You know, yesterday we had the points with Vatek. The game straggled to overtime. We didn't get the cover. Can the Georgetown backer get saved with an overtime here tonight and they end up covering the game? We get that. How about that? Can that happen for us? Maybe? No? All right, fine. Let me finish up some of the NBA. Raptors up 57-39 on the Sixers. Suns are out to a 27-24 lead in the Rockets. The Clippers are up 26-13 on the Heat. They're in Miami tonight. Grizzlies and Jazz 26-24. Getting close to the end of the first quarter. Mavs have a 1-point lead over the Spurs. They're in the first. Timberwolves Nuggets later. Denver minus 2.5. 232.5 is the total. And late night also, the Knicks are in Portland against the Trailblazers. Knicks minus 3.5, 227.5 is the total. And we're looking for a big night from Cat. I think Cat's going to have a big night. So we're going with him tonight. I know I talked Joe off of Cat the last couple games. We're going big with Cat on that. So we'll see. And I think the Blazers will hang around, too. Look, Joe's too much sometimes, Matthias. He says, wow, not even mentioned in the credits anymore. I mean, he's not on tonight.
Yeah, I know. Look, gonna get all hurt.
What am I supposed to say?
Get all hurt, all
he's not
sensitive.
On. Like, what? I don't understand. What, I got to tag him? He's not on the show tonight. Now, do I usually tag when I remember? Yeah, but I had a lot of stuff to put in there. Got Brady coming on. Got George coming on. Got a lot of college rack. We got a lot of things happening. Like I didn't, so I didn't tag Joe. gets very sensitive about this stuff. What are we doing here? The great D from Georgetown, but they can't get the steal. 35 seconds left here. They need a stop, and they're not. Oh, the ball's passing the ball all over the place. They're running out of time. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. The kid heaves up a prayer and misses it. Georgetown's got the ball with 19 seconds left, down 3. What's Cooley going to do here? Can we call a timeout? Can we get a TO, baby? No, we're not going to get a TO. He fouls him. So DePaul does the foul up 3 with 11 seconds to go. Fouls up 3. You see, you better have some good free throw shooters if you're going to do that on the DePaul side. Better have some good free throw shooters. Because now if he makes it a 1-point game, they're fouling you immediately. And you better make yours. And they'll get another crack at it. So this DePaul coach likes that strategy. Who's coaching DePaul now? Man, they've been through so many guys. They have been through so many guys now. Let's see. Who's taking that? Oh, the great Chris Holtman, former Ohio State coach. He's there. Man, he's bounced around too. He's been in a couple spots. He got kind of hosed at Ohio State. But that's the way the game goes sometimes. So let's see if and it's actually not Peavy at the line. We get to see somebody else on Georgetown shoot a free throw. We haven't seen much of that tonight. Not many guys besides Peavy going to the line. This kid shot an air ball. This kid shot an air ball on the front end of a 1-and-1 in a 3-point game. Now we know why they fouled him. Air ball? Kid shoots an air ball? Down 3? With 11 seconds left, he shoots an air ball at the free throw line. He shoots an air ball at the free throw line. You heard me, Matthias. Did you hear what I just said? This kid shot an air ball at the free throw line in a 3-point game with 11 seconds left. And then Peacock's got to come and rub it in my face and show the replay. Like, we needed to see that again. Like, I mean, that guy's got a family.
Mike, I'm a Clippers fan, so I've been watching DeAndre Jordan airball free throws for years. In the playoffs.
That was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. What we just watched. I'm gonna tell you something. Joe would have texted me. Joe's obviously not watching this nonsense. Because I would have heard from that. You see this kid shoot an air ball? Oh my goodness. Kid on DePaul makes the first. It's a 4-point game. You can shut the door here. Shut the door. UNLV up 5. UNLV up 5, Matthias. All right. Come on now. Cal up 4 on Stanford. Man, Stanford. Rutgers up 3. All right, he missed the second. 10 seconds left. Kid slips. 4-point game. Chucks it from nowhere. Obviously, this game's over now. Now it's really over. So they're going to win probably 71-67 unless they decide to foul again, which hopefully they don't, so that they can just put us all.
You should be happy
misery.
It's over, Mike. Yeah, exactly. You should be happy that
believe me, I'm thrilled that it's over because I'm annoyed that I had to watch the last 8 minutes of that game. That was embarrassing. So DePaul wins, and let me tell you something. It's not easy to lose to DePaul at the Big East tournament because they never win at the Big East tournament. They are always one and gone. Like, they don't even book their hotel rooms for more than 2 nights, the DePaul. When DePaul gets the schedule for when the Big East tournament is, they make sure that they only get 2 nights at that place across the street. You know where we do the shows in the city, where we go every day over there at the Renaissance? That's where all these teams stay for the Big East tournament. DePaul always books 2 nights because they know that they're not going to be there on Thursday. Now they got to go book another night at the Renaissance before they get whacked by UConn tomorrow night. Actually, they're not playing UConn. Who are they playing tomorrow night? Creighton. They're going to get smashed by Creighton tomorrow night. So now look at all the more money that they got to waste, Chris Holtman and the DePaul athletic department, by winning that game. You tell I'm upset, Matthias? What a gutless performance by Georgetown.
Yeah.
That was awful.
That's what happens when you miss free throws. Stealing your money.
Well, that's what happens when you get this week. You're so excited for championship week. It's conference tournament week. There's a billion games on all day. And as I said to you at the beginning of the show, these Tuesday and Wednesday games are the worst teams in all of these conferences. And it really gets highlighted how miserable and pathetic they all are. Because you watch these games and one team's worse than the next. And you realize why they're playing on Tuesday and Wednesday. You notice, the Houstons and the Dukes and the Auburns and all these, they're playing Thursday and Friday. They don't got to play Tuesday and Wednesday because they're actually good. And all these bad teams play, and we sit here, and because we're so jacked up for this championship week and the tournament and the brackets, we're hammering away on Georgetown and DePaul at the Big East tournament, and both teams are pathetic. You're hammering away on Cal Stanford. Both teams stink. But that's why we love it. We love every second of it. I need a break from the basketball for 20 minutes, and I'm going to get it because tomorrow, something I actually do love, which is the Players' Championship, TPC Sawgrass, the fifth major, all of it. Let's get into it with Brady Cannon. We'll get his picks. I'll give you mine later on as well. Gotta have it. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. We're back in.
What's it take to get the winning edge? Not a lot. Just don't be dumb. Remember, it's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sense digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese.
No, roofing.
Follow me at Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
SportsGrid TV Network is the premier streaming video channel dedicated to serving the massive sports wagering and fantasy audience. Found on major platforms serving the smart TV market. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertainment transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts, providing live, profitable analysis every day, all year round. Catch the early line weekdays starting at 7 a.m. Eastern, followed by the morning after sports betting and SportsGrid's Newswire. Afternoons heat up with Pharrell Coast to Coast and Game Time Decisions. Evenings simmer with In-Game Live as we help you navigate the in-game wagering sweat. Kick off your Saturdays and Sundays with Fantasy Sports Today, plus must-see pregame seasonal sports wagering coverage, followed by all the action in In-Game Live. To find out where to watch SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com/watch. That's sportsgrid.com/watch. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Remember when your high school football coach would ride you hard just waiting for you to screw up and he'd tell you to take a lap? Again? And then you didn't play football. No, that's cool. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah! And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. Sirius XM 159 with you on a Wednesday night. Of course, not only are we watching all this college basketball, but it is a golf Wednesday on C2C. And, man, you can't get better than this. The Players' Championship, the fifth major, of course, as they always like to dub it. tees off in the morning, TPC Sawgrass, Ponte Vedra, Florida. Stunning course, stunning event, always a lot of fun, always unpredictable. And we have got to get the lay of the land from Brady Cannon before we get going here. Brady, great to see you as always, my friend. And me and Brady, Liv last week was a winner for us. Sergio.
Yeah, how about that?
We got the Sergio
great.
win at Hong Kong, Brady. So we're off and running with our first. Me and Brady were hot with Liv last year. On the coast-to-coast picks. And now we've started here early with Sergio, and hopefully we can carry that through throughout the entire season. Brady, let me start with this with the players. This is such a tough event to cap every single year, despite the fact that it's at the same course every year, and we have so much course history with all of these guys. The word you hear the most this week is volatile, right? Because it's just so, you've got guys with top 10s, missed cut, top 20, missed cut, top 20. Like, there's so many missed cuts and good performances from some of the top players. It is a very tough event to get a handle on.
Oh, you're spot on. I mean, there's really no rhyme or reason to the skill set that works the best here. Is it a bomber? Is it a short knocker? I think there's two things that you can lean on. Ball striking, which is really the theme of the Florida swing. You got to be good off the tee, and you got to be spot on with the irons. You really got to be on fire with the ball striking. And then current form, I think, is one thing that holds true with the Players' Championship. You can't stroll into Ponte Vedra without your game, or it's going to just knock you over. So, I mean, those are kind of the two things that I think you want to try and lean on a little bit in your handicap this week. Scrambling is huge. These greens are a little bit smaller. The rough around the greens is tough. You really got to be good at getting up and down and saving par around here. But you're exactly right. I mean, just look at who's won this thing, okay? Craig Perks, Adam Scott, Tiger Woods, Sergio Garcia, Phil Mickelson. And then you've got Matt Kuchar, Fred Funk, Tim Clark, Stephen Ames, a guy that was always on the leaderboard every year, Jerry Kelly, Ian Poulter was runner-up twice, and then Scotty Scheffler, and then Cam Smith. It's really just all over the map. And like you said, Ricky Fowler's a perfect example. He's won here before. He's also missed the cut 4 or 5 times. It's just really hard to put your finger on. I would say, and I know he's on your card, the one guy that probably has the most consistent resume here, even though it's not stunning, is Hideki Matsuyama. He's got 1 top 10, got a lot of top 20s. I think he's only got 1 missed cut. But his resume is probably the cleanest. Everybody else is a roller coaster.
And with Hideki, of course, everyone always likes to reference he's owed one here. He had that great first round leader the COVID year that who knows what would have happened if that weekend ended up continuing. But the thing with Hideki is, and we might have talked about this either last week with Bay Hill or even the week before, you just never know when he's going to grab his back on the 13th hole on Friday and he's going to go, all right, see you later. I'm out of here. And I think that's what gets people nervous about betting Hideki Matsuyama at these big events. But Brady, when he's playing well, he's undervalued, never looked at, and you look on Sunday and there he is, staring you in the face, and he's about to take you down. So I think 33-1, which is the number that I got Hideki at. I don't like playing him really generally, good. But the number was too silly. I had to go and take a shot.
Yeah, that's a really good number. I've seen him as low as 23. I've seen 24. At some pretty sharp books too. And I know some very sharp people that are on him this week. I think a lot of people are on Hideki, recreational players and professionals like Hideki. I feel like I got mine. I timed it right. I had him at the beginning of the year in Maui at the Sentry. And I also bet him for the Masters. I really think he's going to show up for the Masters. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if he shows up this week. So much about this game that we play trying to pick golf winners is timing, right? And sometimes you just don't know if the timing is right. I'm not sure if the timing's right for Matsuyama. I feel like the Masters could be right. I hope it is because I've got a ticket on him in pocket. But you're just trying to you're crunching all the numbers. You're doing all the data mining and what have you. You're running through all the trends and the course history and then you also kind of have your gut feeling, some hunches on who's playing well and who do I think is going to go well this week. And you hope to land on the right one. And, sometimes you and I are on a few of the same guys. I am not on Hideki this week, but I believe we share, like everybody else, we talked about it, Sepp Straka. He's on everybody's card this week because he makes so much sense. He does everything that you have to do around this place. He's like the best. He probably checks more boxes this week than a lot of guys have checked in any week.
I cannot believe. Now, I should because he's played so well these first 2.5 months of the year. But Brady, everybody, our core four here, me, you, Stewie, and Cam, all four of us are on Sepp. Every golf, like all the golf gurus on Twitter, the golf handicappers, I can't find anyone who's not playing Sepp Straka this week. And that's usually, Brady, a recipe for disaster when we start talking about this stuff because everyone's on this guy.
Well, no, you're right about that. And I hate that situation when I'm on a guy that's so popular. But I'll tell you what, my friends at BetMGM sent me the statistics. Number 1 in ticket count is Oberg. Number 2 is Scheffler. Number 3 is Morikawa. So Straka doesn't even make that list at BetMGM.
That's a good thing. We're going to get the rest of Brady's card when we come back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back after this.
What's it take to get the winning edge? Not a lot. Just don't be dumb. Remember, it's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sense digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese. No, roofing. Follow me at Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The early line.
Still find it interesting that the Chiefs are the second favorite. The Chargers got infinitely better this offseason, and I will absolutely be firing on the Chargers to win the AFC West this year. I'll do it again. I will do it again. So write it down. You heard it here first. Save the tape. We can mark it down on March 12th, first day of the league year. Zeno told you the Chargers are winning the AFC West this year. That is the bet to make.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. Everybody's fighting for your attention. And all you want is some no-nonsense information. We hear you. And you should hear us. We're your trusted source for gaming, odds, and more. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Matthias, of course, brings me more bad news. Rutgers out to a great start, 15-7. USC is beating them. They're in Indianapolis, first round of the Big Ten tournament. All right, Brady, let's get to your card. You mentioned that you're on Sepp Straka. You've got him at 42-1. Give me everybody else you have this week.
I took Morikawa. I thought there was going to be some anti-Morikawa sentiment out there after not being able to close the deal at Bay Hill, but I was wrong. Actually, people like Morikawa this week, and we were talking off air about some sharp books and this and that, and I've seen some sharp books, lower their price on Morikawa. So, it's kind of like Matsuyama. I think there's a lot of recreational and sharp money on Colin Morikawa. I got him at 14. I've seen as low as 9-1. I took Aaron Rye at 50. I took Daniel Berger at 55. I really, we were talking about timing in the segment before. I think the timing could be right for Daniel Berger. It feels like he is really close to kicking that door down. It wasn't that long ago. This guy was a top 15 player in the world, and he suffered injury, missed nearly 2 years on tour. Guy is almost back. He is really close. He's finished top 10 here before twice. He makes sense at all the correlated courses. I like Daniel Berger, got him at 55. And then, Mike, we were also talking the randomness, the volatility, no rhyme or reason here. Anybody can win. These leaderboards are populated with Fred Funk and Tiger and everything in between. So I took some long bombs, and I took JT Poston at 100-1. I took JJ Spawn at 110, and I took Joel Damon at 150.
You talk about long bombs. I was telling you, I had a couple too. So I had Nick Taylor at 120 for the long bomb.
Good number.
You talk about the iron games, the mid-range game, etc. I mean, I think Taylor's been as good as anyone the first 2.5 months of 2025 in those areas. And if he can catch a little hot putter like he has in the past at the Waste Management to win last year, etc., maybe we can get Nick in the door. The other bombs, I know this is another most popular guy right after Sepp Straka. Michael Kim, very popular too, Brady. And I was able to get an early.
Hot, huh?
He's played great, and I got an early click at 90 with him on Sunday night. So I took a Michael Kim at 90, and he's down in the 70s now. And I took one more really huge one. For a guy, and I know this guy's got problems playing all 4 days, and he's going to break your heart probably if you got a lead. But for a guy who has set a course record here, to be 300 to 1, 300 to 1
for
a guy who has
the sandwich?
Yep, Hoagie. And it's just look, and I'm going to back that up, obviously, and they're really good prices to back up, whether it's a top 10 and a top 20 for Hoagie as well. But he's got a tremendous iron game play that fits here, and we talk about the volatility with some guys. He actually has. I think he's made the cut 6 of the last 7 years at this event. So he's got success at making the cut, and he's got the course record.
Yeah, I would say the only thing that seems to be a little bit off with Tom Hoagie is his current form, but there's no doubt about it he's played well here before. There's no doubt about it he fits the profile. He can putt as well. So, yeah, no, I mean, 300, that's a good price on Tom Hoagie. You don't, I don't, sometimes, Mike, and you know how this is, 90% of the time in sports betting, it's all about the price. Okay.
That's
if you're getting Matt Fitzpatrick at 400-1, I don't care what kind of form he's in. That's a hell of a price. Yeah. So same thing, Tom Hoagie. Okay. Maybe you don't really like him to win this week, but you can't ignore that price. That's a hell of a bargain.
Can't ignore him. I'm with you on Damon. I played him 10 and 20. I'm going to play. I didn't play him to win. Maybe I'll add him, but I did play him 10 and 20. Just because I like the way that he's playing right now. 3 matchups for you head-to-head. Quickly, what do you got?
I've got Andrew Novak at -125 over Cam Davis. Again, a ball striker there is Novak. Damon, +135 over Austin Eckroat. I thought that price was ridiculous. That matchup ought to be closer to a pick'em, in my opinion. And then Ben Griffin at -145 over Max Gracerman. I'll continue to fade Gracerman until I can see this guy have some mental toughness. I mean, he just, as soon as he, starts to have some success, he just falls apart like a cheap suit. So I'll bet against Max Gracerman.
Me and Cam played him today for top debutant at 9-1. We played Gracerman. Top debutant.
He might be. How many times have you seen that guy fold?
Yeah. Oh, he folds. I don't deny it. He folds. You had one of the best tweets ever before we go. One of the worst golf bets you could make, and also one of the most fun. First round leaders. Brady's got Morikawa, Straka, Nicholas Højgaard, and Andrew Putnam. Brady in the first round. Brady, let's get it at the Players. I'll see you tomorrow on Coast to Coast. Live! Singapore. Let's go. We're back.
Let's do it.
What's it take to get the winning edge?
Not a lot. Just don't be dumb.
Remember, it's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. Football full circle.
But I'll ask Washington Commander fans, would you give up 5 number ones for Jaden Daniels? You know what? Knowing what I know now, probably. Would you give up 5 number ones, for the Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud? You know what? I wouldn't like it, but yeah, I got my quarterback of the future. Whatever it takes.
It's football full circle with Ben Stevens and Scott Wetzel. Weekdays noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sense digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese.
No, Rufin!
Follow me at G Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The early line.
Still find it interesting that the Chiefs are the second favorite. The Chargers got infinitely better this offseason, and I will absolutely be firing on the Chargers to win the AFC West this year. I'll do it again. I will do it again. So write it down. You heard it here first. Save the tape. We can mark it down on March 12th, first day of the league year. Zeno told you the Chargers are winning the AFC West this year. That is the bet to make.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. Remember when your high school football coach would ride you hard just waiting for you to screw up and he'd tell you to take a lap? Again? And then you didn't play football. No, that's cool. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah! And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. Sirius XM. There it is. We'll stand up and shout. Joe's going to be upset that he missed that tonight. Hour number 2, Carver and Lisi here with you, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM. Channel 159. Great job by Brady Cannon right there. Of course, as we get ready for the Players' Championship tomorrow, which is always a fun one. I will do all of my picks right before the end of the show. Believe me, I want to do a little bit more with the basketball here. We'll have George then, and then after George, I'll give everybody, if you weren't watching Coast to Coast or just check it in, I'll give you what I've got, and I've got a lot for the Players' Championship that's going to go on this week. Okay, let's get you up to date here with some of the things that are happening. I actually turned on the Stanford-Cal game, and it's a hell of a game, honestly. And Stanford just made a bucket, and they were fouled, so you get a chance to go up 4. 73-70, Stanford leads Cal. 27.5 seconds left in this game. This has been back and forth. Cal, of course, playing the double overtime game yesterday, the 4 overtime game with Notre Dame on Saturday. Stojakovic got blocked there. Peja Stojakovic's kid is on this Cal team. He's a pretty good shooter. What do you expect? Look at who his dad is. Mississippi State, the smash down of the night. At least me and Joe were there for that one. 86-56, hammering LSU. American smash job on Navy. They're up 20, 67-47. American's going to go dancing. They'll be in the tournament. We mentioned to you about Stanford. They're up 4 now, 74-70. Elsewhere, Rutgers getting run here. I mean, they're down 13. 31-18, USC leads with under 5 minutes to go in the first half. How gutless is this team? Honestly, Ace Bailey, 2 for 5 from the field, 4 points. Harper, 3 for 6 with 6 points. Like, I mean, how about getting some stops? I mean, it doesn't help. I mean, honestly, Matthias, it doesn't help if USC going to miss any threes tonight. I mean, that don't help. Hopefully that don't last all night. That's for sure. I mean, they've hit a ton of threes already.
I changed it. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. Lucky for you, you were talking golf with Brady. You didn't have to see the nightmare of the first 10 minutes. They went about 6 minutes without scoring a basket.
Maybe I'll change the mojo if I put it on. Nothing against you, but maybe I'll change the mojo.
No,
UNLV
we need
won,
anything helps.
68-59. They covered that halftime line too. It was 5.5. 68-59. UNLV with a win over Air Force. We got this Oklahoma-Georgia game that's going to start also. And that's coming up. Now, the other game's not over yet. And we got time for that because LSU, Mississippi State are still playing. And Seton Hall and Villanova is going to start any moment. I think that's too many points. Wow, Stojakovic hit the three. What a shot by him. 1 point game, but they don't get him on the other end, so they get an easy buckets. 3 point game. 76-73, 11 seconds left, and Cal's got the rock. Just give it to Page's kid and let him fire again. They foul him. They're not going to let him shoot the three. Oh, but they give him a big screen. Oh, and he missed it. What happened there? Offensive foul. Oh, what is he doing? Too hard of a screen. I mean, he pretty much put the guy on the ground. Page don't like it. They show him in the crowd. He's throwing his hands in the air. my goodness. And now the Gauchos also are down early here. The Gauchos against this Bakersfield team. You got to be kidding me. They better take care of business here tonight, Matthias. We've watched the Gauchos a lot. They coming off getting their doors blown off in the second half by the Anteaters the other night. So
for as long as I covered the Big West basketball, man, I gotta say that Santa Barbara team is one unpredictable team when it comes to Big West playoff basketball. When it comes to making the tournament, doesn't matter if they're first place, second place. They have a guy like Alvin Williams down there that goes to the NBA a couple years ago. You know, they just don't show up. You can't trust them in the tournament. It doesn't matter what they do in the regular season. Those Gauchos, they'll disappoint you in the Big West tournament. But you know who doesn't?
Gauchos.
Irvine does.
Yeah, what's up with the Suns lately? Why is Anteaters? We got to get them in. They got to win this tournament because they're like right on the bubble.
They always win the tournament, Mike.
They always win the tournament. UC San Diego is good this year, though. That UC San Diego team is very good.
Yeah, you know, they are good. I'm not taking away from them, but they don't make runs when it comes to the Big West tournament. You know, they haven't made a run to the finals. We don't see them in the tournament every single year. But, you're right, though. They are a good squad. I just want to see them do it in the tournament. Northridge could make a run in this tournament, Mike.
Northridge? No, I'm not in on Northridge. What's going on with the Suns lately? Didn't they KD got in a fight with the Grizzlies the other night, right? The kid who gave him the stare down, the Sutton kid. Now they're fighting with the Rockets tonight. Suns just trying to roll with everybody. Shane in Arkansas is on the over in USC, over 153. Yeah, I hope Rutgers starts lighting it up too, Shane. That would be very helpful if they did. Elsewhere, Thunder up 82-72 on the Celtics. A 10-point lead now for the Thunder. SGA's got 26. Remember I was bellyaching? He had 11 towards the end of the first half. Yeah, he's working it now.
I just checked the box score, Mike, and right when I checked the box score, he throws up another 3. So you know what? The last time I checked was a couple minutes ago. It was 21, Mike. So he scored 5 points in the last couple minutes.
Let me see what they're offering you right now. He's got 26. It's a close game, and he's still got a quarter and 5 minutes to go. Like he might get a 50 tonight. Plus 880 for 50. Plus 880. Like,
that's far-fetched.
I feel like it's worth a poke, man. Like, I really do. Like,
I think, what about 45? Maybe. What about 45?
Come on. You go big or you go home. Like,
well, 45 would be big too, right? Isn't 45 like in the plus 400 range, at least?
Let me see. Let's see what they're giving you for 45. 45. It's like
that's attainable.
Joe now here with you. Joe's usually greedy. You're not being greedy. You need to be greedy.
I like attainable things.
All right, 45 is plus 320.
See,
He
that's
get
nice.
45. All right, so we'll do 45.
Yeah, exactly. He can get 45.
See, my thing
I think we might need overtime to get to 50.
I want to put it with the golf, so I need to make sure that I have everything lined up here properly. All right, so we'll do that. We'll get you involved with. So let me put
That's a
this
nice
in so I don't
number.
lose it.
It's a great number. It's a great number to hit.
It's a great number. I don't disagree with you. It's a great number. I mean, Braves. Matt Fitzpatrick's 110 to 1 now. Man, his number's dropping like a rock. Jeez, what are we doing here? Some of these numbers, man. Unbelievable what we have for the Players' Championship. All
I
right,
jumped in
plus
on the
320.
Flames. Let's go.
You jumped in on the Flames?
Yeah, I also took on first goal. Let's go. Click, 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 click.
You know, I remember I told you last night I took that Avalanche game. Remember I took the Avalanche down 1-0 going into the third against Minnesota?
Did they win the
tied
game?
The game. Well, they didn't win the game. They tied the game at 1, and then they lost in a shootout. So I should have. You know what? I went and looked at the start of overtime. Minnesota was plus 105. I probably should have shaved a little bit off, but you know how it goes, Matthias. Greed is what
you know. We should have just picked on your Islanders again. Boy, is that team dropping over here on the West Coast.
They stink. They absolutely stink. The Islanders. So you really should have did that. Is what you should have did. All right. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We'll come back. We'll get George in. We'll do a little football with him, see what he likes in hockey tonight, and more. We're back on the grid after this.
What's it take to get the winning edge?
Not a lot. Just
the new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sense digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese. No, roofing. Follow me at Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The early line.
Still find it interesting that the Chiefs are the second favorite. The Chargers got infinitely better this offseason, and I will absolutely be firing on the Chargers to win the AFC West this year. I'll do it again. I will do it again. So write it down. You heard it here first. Save the tape. We can mark it down on March 12th, first day of the league year. Zeno told you the Chargers are winning the AFC West this year. That is the bet to make.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Everybody's fighting for your attention.
And all you want is some no-nonsense information.
We hear you.
And you should hear us. We're your trusted source for gaming, odds,
and more.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. That's like the smooth, like '80s jazz. When you love somebody. That's what like that is right there from Matthias, that rejoin music. Nice job there. Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio. Carver sans Lisi. Joe's out on assignment as we've got a lot going on here. And always good to have back our good buddy, Gentleman George Kurtz. And I got up for a second during the break, and I walked back. I came over, and I put the earpiece on, and all I heard was George saying how he's upset with the Islanders, he's upset with the Yankees, he's upset with the Cowboys, he's upset him. George is upset with pretty much everybody. Happy Wednesday, George. How are you, buddy?
Well, Mike, since the last time we talked, things haven't exactly gone well. All right, for the teams I root for here.
No.
All right, and you root for two of them as well here, right? The Yankees lose Cole, and everyone's hurt but their mother now, and now the Red Sox are going to win the division, or maybe it's the Blue Jays. Certainly, it could be the Yankees. Then they're not going to spend any money because they're up against the tax. Oh yeah, because they don't make money like they don't. It's angry, right? And then the Cowboys. I mean, I guess they're spending money. They're signing free agents, but these are all depth free agents that no one cares about. All right, he keeps trading away draft picks for guys who were thought to be good at one point. Like, all of a sudden, this coaching staff can revive these guys. And they got your boy Elam today for a cornerback, right? Yay! And then, of course, the Islanders, where
he sucks, George. George, that guy.
Yeah, I know he was terrible. He was ranked like 147th or 149th. All right, this guy's bad. He needs to change the scenery, whatever. And then we got the Islanders, and I know you heard Lou on Saturday where, I understand we need to get younger and more talent. Well, then maybe you should have traded Palmieri and Pajot and Anders Lee and some defensemen here and cleared some cap space and gotten younger. But no, why do the smart
and make no mistake about it, George. If Brock Nelson would have took a little bit less money, he wasn't trading him either. As good as the return was for Brock Nelson, he would have kept him if Brock agreed to whatever it was, 3 years instead of 5 years. He would have absolutely not made that deal. And thank God he did, because if there's one thing that the Islanders don't have, it's young, dynamic offensive players. And that kid, Richie, that they got in the deal, 20 years old, it was their first round pick 2 years ago. He is a young, dynamic offensive player. So maybe Lou fell into that one. Because you heard him do. He didn't want to trade him. Didn't want to trade him. Makes no sense, George. No sense that guy still runs the team. Makes no sense whatsoever.
Mike, would it surprise you at all if he re-signs Nelson during the offseason and they run it back again next year with the same team?
It's possible. It's possible. It would not stun me. Although I think that obviously a lot's going to be predicated on what do the Avalanche do. Does that, that I think that probably could. And there's been those rumblings that Brock wants to finish his career in Minnesota. Who knows how true that is or not. But I could absolutely see him coming back. But now I like how they also tried to sell you, George, that, well, we only got rid of one guy and we're still, we're still in this thing, and we're gonna, we can make the playoffs. No, you can't. Not making the playoffs. Team is not making the playoffs.
Who cares if you can?
Stop.
What? Just so they get trounced by Florida? I mean, what are you doing here? I mean, what are you doing? They should have traded Lee. They should have traded Palmieri. They should have traded Pajot. All had offers on the table here. You get out from underneath those contracts and you rebuild from there. And you have literally nine defensemen. Should have traded a couple of those guys too. They may not have brought back the same haul here, but you need draft picks. The Islanders need lottery picks. They need lottery picks, which is what a draft pick is. And hope you hit on a couple of them.
Yep. They absolutely could use them, man. They looked good against the Kings last night. They had disallowed goals. They suck. Okay, let's just call it like it is. The Islanders suck. We'll get to all of our other troubles in the next segment, George, since we bashed the Islanders for a few minutes here. Tonight, Red Wings up 4-3 on the Sabres as they're about to end the second period. I'm showing here 1 second left in the period, so maybe they just got to drop the puck. It's over now. So they're going to the third. That's the TNT game tonight, the first game. The second game of the TNT doubleheader is the Ducks and Utah. And I got to tell you, Ducks got smashed last night at home by the Capitals. They gave up 7 goals. They lost 7-4. But I'm probably nuts, George. I think this number's wrong. I like the Ducks tonight. I know it's the second night of a back-to-back. Utah's a pretty good home team. But minus 290, Utah? They're hot. fine. They're only 4 points separating these teams. I'm going to take a shot with the Ducks later on in this game in Utah tonight.
Going by the line, you're right. That's where you should be going here. But the fact is they played last night, and I hate betting on teams that played the night before against teams that haven't played. Utah will be fresher here. And actually, Utah's not good at home. They're 12-20. They're bad at home. That being said,
they're good on the
like
road.
Doing this.
They're a team that they're good on the road and they
yes.
suck at home. Right.
They're a wacky team. They're a screwball team. And I don't like doing this either, by the way, but I took Utah on the goal line here. But even that, I was laying 112 to win by 2. So I don't love this play here. And by the way, NHL, great job on your national TV night of having 6 teams that had never had a chance to make the playoffs, right? We got Buffalo, Detroit, this game's Utah, Anaheim, Montreal, and whoever else I'm missing here. You do have Vancouver and Calgary. Great. You got 2 wild card teams in there. Way to go, NHL, to really publicize your league tonight.
The West is kind of, these last spots. So Calgary's got 70. Vancouver's got 69. St. Louis has 69. Utah's got 67. So Utah's only 3 points back of Calgary for the last spot. So they've kind of kept themselves in. It's a big game. It's a big game for them. It's a big game for Utah. They need every point that they can get right now in this situation. And you mentioned Calgary's playing tonight against Vancouver. And then Montreal won in Vancouver last night, and now they're in Seattle tonight, again as a plus my dog. Seattle sucks. They're awful, Seattle. Not a good hockey team.
Montreal sucks too, but I like the over in that game. And Caulfield to score an anytime goal, I'll take that. I'm picking against all the teams that played last night. So I'm picking against Vancouver. I'm picking against Montreal. I'm picking against Anaheim. I'm going to go with that theme tonight here. Like I said, I do like the over in with Montreal. I like the under with Calgary and Vancouver, as those teams just don't score goals here. Quinn Hughes is back for Vancouver tonight, though, so maybe he'll add some offense.
That is a little bizarre. You got all 3 of those teams late night playing. One team didn't play last night. The other team did. You usually don't see them do that very often. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We got George Curtis back in.
Are you retired like me and you just found out you owe the IRS a ton of money? Well, what would your life be like if they took your retirement savings away from you? They can do it and your property. If you owe the IRS back taxes or you haven't filed in a while, the Tax Relief Line is here to help you. They can stop the IRS from taking your retirement savings. If you qualify, you could have your tax bill reduced to 0. That's right. If you're retired and you owe the IRS a lot in back taxes, you could have your entire tax bill reduced to 0 due. The IRS has now hired thousands of new employees, so they're ready to come after you. Don't let them take your retirement savings or property. Make this free call now.
800-917-1275. 800-917-1275. 800-917-1275. That's 800-917-1275.
Imagine combining the exciting investment opportunity of cryptocurrencies with the power of artificial intelligence to maximize your IRA, 401k, or other investment funds. Listen, if you're looking for ways to accelerate your retirement growth, Block Trust IRA has market-leading strategies and solutions for all levels of investors, from $1,000 to millions. And they partner with Bitcoin Magazine's #1 crypto trading fund in the world to maximize your returns. Plus, their team of IRA specialists is here to help you roll over your IRA or qualified retirement account to the new world of cryptocurrency investments. So make this free call right now to set up your account and learn more.
800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. That's 800-434-5313.
Football full circle.
But I'll ask Washington Commander fans, would you give up 5 number 1s for Jaden Daniels? You know what? Knowing what I know now, probably. Would you give up 5 number 1s, for the Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud? You know what? I wouldn't like it, but yeah, I got my quarterback of the future. Whatever it takes.
It's Football Full Circle with Ben Stevens and Scott Wetzel. Weekdays noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
1966, Bobby Holt scores his 51st goal of the season, setting a new record.
And the crowd
The Golden Jet was selected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1983. For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
You've heard of smart bombs, smartphones, smart cars, smart watches, and smart glasses. Now you can add smart player, giving you sports gaming strategies and information 24/7. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah. And we're back. SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159 on a Wednesday night on the grid. We're talking with George Kurtz. I want to do some football stuff with him. Rutgers got it to, if you want to call it that, 11 at the half against USC. 41-30 is the score there. Seton Hall down 11 already to Villanova, so they're probably going to get smashed. Stanford did win that game. Baylor won by 14. Oklahoma, Georgia about to start. UCF, Kansas about to start. Syracuse, SMU going to start soon. Big Sky final later. Montana, Northern Colorado. We'll get to that before we get out of here tonight. All right, George. Football now. Obviously, it's a lot of movement. Free agent frenzy. I hate the dopey, early, whatever it's called, tampering, soft tampering, whatever they want to call it, legal tampering that they do on Monday. Just make that the day that you start. Like, why they do that, I have no idea. But either way, we've had lots of movement, and the quarterbacks always take center stage. So before you go hammer away at the Cowboys for what they haven't done, what do you think? Who do you think has worked out the best with all this carousel of quarterback moves? Whether it's Darnold to Seattle, Geno to Vegas. It sounds like Daniel Jones is going to compete in Indianapolis. It seems like everyone else is kind of being held hostage. What a surprise by Aaron Rodgers with what he's going to do. Your thoughts on the quarterback movement so far?
Well, if you're asking me who I think did the best at quarterback, can I say nobody? I mean, I don't get
you can.
Nobody. I mean, Geno Smith going to the Raiders. Okay, he makes you better. I mean, you had Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. You and I could play quarterback. They'd be better, or at least not as bad as they were. So, okay, better. But what are you hoping for? I mean, Mahomes, Herbert, even Knicks, they all might be better than you. Geno Smith's a decent quarterback, although he does make those couple of head-scratching plays each game. Like, what the hell did you see? What were you looking at? That sort of thing there. But he does make you better. But what are you competing for? I mean, you're not going to – I don't know if you're not going to make the playoffs. I don't even know if you're going to finish outside of third place, your best case in the division. Then you go to Seattle with Darnold. I thought Darnold signed light. Really surprised that the best he could do was $33 million, right? I thought he'd get
those
sort of a
last
Daniel Jones
games
contract.
Hurt him, George. Those last couple games hurt him, I think. Killed him.
Might have absolutely killed him here. But they traded everybody away on offense, right? It's sort of an incomplete. I mean, I guess my answer would be Darnold, depending on what else they do, because, okay, JSN's still there. You still got Walker and Charbonneau, so you still having, I guess, some skill position players, but your offensive line sucks. All right, your defense is good, and you still got DeMarcus Lawrence from the Cowboys today, so they're sort of an incomplete for me. But if I had to choose one of them, it would certainly, I guess it would be Darnold. It certainly ain't Daniel Jones with the Indianapolis Colts. And by the way, Richardson, if you lose out to Jones,
you can't lose to
retire.
Daniel Jones. You cannot lose the job to Daniel Jones. I get why he went there. He probably thought that's my best chance to start. I mean, because you think he probably would have maybe started the year with Minnesota if he went back to there. But J.J. McCarthy's knocking on the door and he hasn't had a chance yet. Whereas Anthony Richardson's had some chances. And whether you think about him or not, that's not a concrete place for him. So maybe DJ thinks that if I can just win the job, that I can resurrect myself here a little bit. I'm very surprised, George, that these teams still let Rodgers run the roost. Basically Steelers and Giants are all just sitting around waiting for him now to decide where he wants to go before they can move on with their stuff. You don't want Russell Wilson, that's for sure. But
desperation.
I think what the Steelers have done, Mike Williams back to the Chargers. Well, that's earth-shattering right there. Mike Williams back to the Chargers. There you go, George. I know you're excited about that. We'll get the We'll get the bonus ball segment with George next, where he'll tell me what he thinks of everything that the Cowboys, I guess, have done. And then the Yankee landscape has changed a lot since me and George last talked a week ago. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, back after this.
The early line.
Still find it interesting that the Chiefs are the second favorite. The Chargers got infinitely better this offseason, and I will absolutely be firing on the Chargers to win the AFC West this year. I'll do it again. I will do it again. So write it down. You heard it here first. Save the tape. We can mark it down on March 12th, first day of the league year. Zeno told you the Chargers are winning the AFC West this year. That is the bet to make.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-587-4281. 800-587-4281. 800-587-4281. That's 800-587-4281.
The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Get the winning edge with sports gaming strategies and expert information.
In other words,
Yeah. And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Here with you on a Wednesday night. All right, George. I was looking at what the Cowboys have done. I guess we can constitute this really as not much. They've traded for linebacker Kenneth Murray. They traded for Khair Elam, who stinks, from the Bills. They signed Solomon Thomas, Peyton Turner, Jack Sanborn, Robert Jones, running back Javonte Williams. Remember everybody was yelling at them last year for not signing a running back? And now they have signed. But didn't Rico Dowdle go out the door? So really, it was just so they lost Rico Dowdle. I saw he signed in Carolina. They've lost DeMarcus Lawrence as well, as he went to Seattle. So it seems, some bigger names out the door, maybe some lesser names in the door. Not much work, really. But the plenty of tweets from Micah Parsons about the 49ers ripping down all of their stuff. So Micah was very concerned about that as he was tweeting about the Niners.
He was. I mean, listen, I'm not going to rip the Cowboys. I'm done. All right. The guy said Jerry Jones is a charlatan. All right. He puts on an act. He doesn't care about winning. There's a great stat. The Cowboys, Mike, have not signed a free agent for more than $10 million a year since 2015. Okay. It's Jerry doesn't spend money. People think the Cowboys are worth $1 gazillion, but Jerry does not spend money. All right, he just doesn't here. So, like I said, he's the owner. He wants to run the team his way, fine. As a Cowboy fan, you just have to accept it. All right, they're going to be bad this year. Probably, a 7-win team, 8-win team, whatever it might be, not make the playoffs. It is what it is. All the players you mentioned that they signed here, they're all depth players. Or they all should be depth players. And don't get me wrong, you need depth players, right? Guys are going to get hurt. The problem is some of those guys are going to be – Kenneth Murray's going to be forced to start. All right, Sanborn forced to start. And that's not good. That's just not good, and that's the problem here. All those guys that you mentioned he signed, yet the Cowboys still need a running back, offensive line help, a wide receiver, defensive line help, linebacker, and secondary. Yet he signed eight guys. It's just, like I said, these are all bottom of your roster guys.
And it also seems like people just feel that it's automatic that they're going to take this kid Genty from Boise State with their first-round pick to solve their running back problems, and he's a hell of a player, but the way things are starting to sound, George, he might be gone by the time they pick. The way that he's getting boosted and talked up the board right now. So running backs are like, remember 2 years ago, George, or 3 years ago, running backs were like meaningless. It didn't matter. It seems like running backs are kind of back now after the year Barkley had and some of these other guys getting paid. Suddenly running back's important again to people, and someone Gibbs to with how high the Lions took him and how dangerous he is. So it seems like a player like Genty might go before the Cowboys even pick. What pick do they have, George? What pick are they at?
12. Cowboys are at 12. I don't think they would take Genty. They're going to take Genty anyway. All right, the Cowboys have a lot of issues, and running back is deep. You can get a running back in the second, third round.
He likes shiny toys, George. He likes shiny toys, Jerry.
But where's McMillan going? I think that's the guy to look at here. Cowboys need wide receiver help. I think if you could tell Jerry he can get McMillan and then whatever running back in the second round, he's going to do that. That sort of thing. So I think if Genty does go, and people are thinking that he's going to go to the Raiders at 6, and I don't mind that. Like I said, then take the best player. Although, if you're the Raiders, by the way, you just signed Geno. Shouldn't you be taking a wide receiver at 6? You ain't got nobody there.
Yeah.
So I wonder if what comes first. I think the Raiders take either McMillan or Genty. I do think they'll take one of the two here, in terms of which way they want to go here. In my mind, running backs are still a little easier to come by than wide receivers. I would take McMillan. And if he does, then, Genty might last, because who takes a running back? Jets aren't going to do it. Carolina at 8.
I think the Raiders are one of these. I think the Raiders are one of these teams that's trying to lowball Cooper Kupp too. Like they're trying to get him on the cheap. Everybody's trying to get Cooper Kupp on the cheap, and I think the Raiders are one of those teams. The Cowboys should be one of those teams too. That's trying to get Cooper Kupp on the cheap.
There are a lot of veteran wide receivers. Keenan Allen's still out there. I mean, Amari Cooper's out there. Cooper's not going back to Dallas, by the way. That'll never happen. Jerry Jones didn't like him.
No.
I think there's somebody else. No, the Hopkins signed today. So there's still some veteran wide receivers out there, though Kupp probably does top that list.
Yeah. All right, Yankees. So Cole finished. Done for the year, of course, with the Tommy John. He'll out a minimum half the year. He ain't be back anytime before July. Then you have Stanton. The Stanton stuff's funny to me. And look, I don't like to hammer away at Stanton because he does show up in October. So it's hard for me. He's missed a lot of time since he's been a Yankee, but in the big moments, George, it's hard to deny. He's gotten hits when he's been out there in October. So I don't like to hammer away at Stanton like some do. But I'll say this. Why did it wait? If he had these problems in October, when the World Series ended, why did we not even attempt to address them until he showed back up in Tampa in February for spring training? And then he goes to New York to get the PRP injections. Cashman does a thing that says, he's not, surgery's like a last resort, not on the table. And then he tells you a couple days later this weekend, surgery, yeah, I'd be out for the year. That's an option. Surgery is definitely not. So I guess you could scratch him off the list too for this year as well. And they're going to get insurance money for Cole, but we're not spending that. We're just going to let you know that's not money we're spending. All of our help's coming internally, Cashman said. We're not going outside to get anybody.
And that comes from Steinbrenner, by the way. Because Steinbrenner said that this is your budget. We ain't spending no more. All right. But as soon as I'm like, it makes you throw up a little bit. And the Yankees make money hand over fist, right? And yet they don't want to spend past the. Listen. I understand. Anybody they purchase right now is going to cost double, because they're 110% above the luxury tax. So they sign somebody for $10 million. It actually would cost the Yankees $21 million. I get that, but you're the New York Yankees, for crying out loud. You're not winning the division right now. You might be a wild card team, but even that's not far from a guarantee. You mentioned Stanton, Mike. We can play a little game. Who's coming back first, Stanton or Hill? I don't know.
Yeah.
I have like you said, I sort of have my doubts that we're going to see Stanton this year. It wouldn't shock me if we don't see him this year. You don't have a third baseman. All right. And you're really hoping, as far as the offense is concerned, that Goldschmidt has a bounce back, which is possible, I guess, but you can't really bank on that. And that your youngsters, Volpe, Wells, Dominguez, that they make improvements. right? That vote maybe becomes maybe the player the hitter you thought he was going to be. I think Wells is going to hit 25, 28 home runs. I think he's, he'll be fine here. Dominguez, you sort of need him to be a star. And you keep screwing around with this guy as far as where you're playing him in the outfield. Play him in center field and leave him alone. Bellinger is not Paul Blair out there. All right, just leave him alone out there so he doesn't have to worry about defense and think about defense. Let him hit. But the Yankees have a lot of problems here. We even talked about the rotation. And the Yankees have, Carlos Carrasco is your number 6 starter right now. I mean, it's not good.
I am stunned that they're the favorites to win the American League. Now, I get it. You can't change the Yankee price too much because everybody's going to hammer it. And then if they do end up making moves, the book's going to get crushed. I understand why the Yankee number doesn't move. But, man, George, I cannot make any case right now for the Yankees. Forget about winning the AL. Now, I think they'll make the playoffs as long as Judge plays 150 games. Because the American League, there's enough teams they can beat up in the American League that they'd probably still be one of the 6 teams that makes it. But I don't think they're winning the East, and I don't think they're winning the AL with the pitching that they're going to run out there every day. I don't see it.
If Judge gets hurt, by the way, it's all over with the crying. You can start packing up.
Judge gets hurt, they miss the playoffs. They miss the playoffs if Judge gets hurt. He'll be the cherry on top. They won't recover from that.
The only good news for the Yankees is that there's no great team in the American League. But they're in this category as well now, too. There's no great team. All right, then listen, if the Yankees can we all have the Yankee wish list, right, which is Sandy Alcantara. All right, because Miami apparently is going to move him at some point this year. If the Yankees can somehow get him, and I don't know how they would get him. Their farm system's not all that good. Maybe Miami loves Spencer Jones, Mike. Maybe they can make a deal around him or George Lombard.
George, great job as always. We'll see you again next week. George Kurtz with us here. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. We'll come back 4 to 2 right after this.
What's it take to get the winning edge? Not a lot. Just don't be dumb. Remember, it's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sense digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese.
No, roofing.
Follow me at Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
SportsGrid TV Network is the premier streaming video channel dedicated to serving the massive sports wagering and fantasy audience. Found on major platforms serving the smart TV market. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertainment transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts, providing live, profitable analysis every day, all year round. Catch the early line weekdays starting at 7 a.m. Eastern, followed by the morning after sports betting and SportsGrid's Newswire. Afternoons heat up with Pharrell Coast to Coast and Game Time Decisions. Evenings simmer with In-Game Live as we help you navigate the in-game wagering sweat. Kick off your Saturdays and Sundays with Fantasy Sports Today, plus must-see pregame seasonal sports wagering coverage, followed by all the action in In-Game Live. To find out where to watch SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com/watch. That's sportsgrid.com/watch. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Remember when your high school football coach would ride you hard just waiting for you to screw up and he'd tell you to take a lap? Again? And then you didn't play football. No, that's cool. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
XM 159. Here with you on a Wednesday night in the grid. Nice job by George there. You can tell he's upset. SGA's at 30, by the way, Matthias. I got to get to 45 unless there's like overtime or something. There's 4 minutes left in the game. He sat for a pretty good amount at the start of the fourth quarter, and, you needed the big push. But, it's a tight game. I mean, there could be OT at some point here. It's only a 6-point game with 4 minutes left. If they get an overtime, we got an outside shot, but he needs 15 more points. And even if there's overtime, he'd probably need to get at least 8 here at the end in order for that to even have a possibility of happening. So,
I know, Mike. I saw that with George. I knew when he sat down for that long period of stretch and he got stuck at 26. It was it did hurt.
Didn't
That's
help.
why
Didn't help us. That's for sure.
It wasn't attainable. We got a 1-1 game in Calgary and Vancouver. Vancouver gets the first goal, bloody hell, but Calgary ties it up.
Can we crack the whip here with Rutgers? They're down 9 now. 15 minutes to go. Can they make a push? I mean, can we make a little push here with Rutgers? Can we get something going? They have any energy at all?
I hope so.
Watch the game?
I don't want to watch it because I have checked the score, and it's been at 11, it's been at 9, it's been at 8, it's been at 10. So, if it ever gets under 6, under 5, I'll turn it on just because that's when I'll start to feel it again. But until then, I can't because it's too many missed jump shots, too many bad passes, too many turnovers, bad shots left and right. It makes my heart rate go too high and down. You know what I mean? I got to settle in.
I'm annoyed. I'm really annoyed with the Rutgers thing. USC is pathetic.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely pathetic.
They can't play defense, Mike. That's the thing. It's like they take bad shots. You can't rebound, and then you give easy shots on the other end of USC, and you take another bad shot. That no defense again, get straight to the rim, another layup for USC. It's frustrating. It's just
Gaucho's up 6. Gaucho's up 6. The Gauchos are up 6. Come on. Crack the whip here a little bit. All right, I said I would give out some of my player stuff here before we get out of here. Now, look, the card's probably going to get added to by the time I put the head on the pillow tonight. But the main event stuff that I do have, outrights, Justin Thomas, 22-1. I've seen some better ones, too. If you might catch a 25 somewhere. I'm actually going to look a little deeper here tonight, see if I can find a little bit of a better number. But I'm on JT. He's a former winner here. I like the way he's playing right now. I know that he's had some tough stretches with the putter. Maybe we can get it going. As we talked about with Brady, I'm on Matsuyama at 33-1. He has great history here, which it's very tough. Got most guys, it's hit or miss. But Matsuyama's pretty consistent. Maybe he can get it done. Irish Bear in Florida, you can't really get off the boat at this point because then he's just going to, he'll end up beating you. So I'm playing Lowry in all 4 of these Florida events. We've come close in the first 2. We're going to go on with him here this week. And he is playing the Valspar next week. I had no idea about that. So we're going to be on the Irish Bear for all 4 Florida events. Michael Kim at 90-1. That was a good click that I got late Sunday night. I've seen still some 70, 75, 80s out there. He's playing excellent right now. Back that up. I'm going to play him for a 10 and a 20 also. I really do that with all these main guys. I do back those guys up. And Nick Taylor at 120-1. I think it's a silly number. Just based off of the fact that he's played well this year, good iron player. It's the kind of stuff that you need at TPC Sawgrass. And I told this too. I didn't have this on Coast to Coast, but I mentioned it with Brady. Hoagie's 300. Now I like Hoagie more, first round leader, which I got at 150-1, and play him for a 10 and a 20, 40 even too. The number's going to be good enough. But Hoagie's the type of player who plays well at this place. Oberg plus top 5 plus 320, Rory top 10 plus 105, Sepp Straka top 10 plus 360, Spieth top 20 at plus 200. Spieth's upset that he didn't play last week at Bay Hill. I think he's going to play well. Harmon finished second here last year, top 20 at plus 270. The Gim Reapers got great numbers here as well. Doug Gim top 20 at plus 280, and Joel Damon, as I said to Brady, top 20 at plus 410. Well, no, I play all mine with ties. I hope that you do as well. First round leader bombs. I'm playing Fleetwood at 45-1, Cantlay at 50-1, Aaron Rye at 70-1, Ryan Harmon at 81, Doug Gim at 90-1, Andrew Novak at 100-1, and Tom Hoagie at $150 for them. I had some props as well. We are playing the hole-in-one on 17. That is, listen, when you got an iconic par 3 which everyone roots for hole-in-ones on. We do it at the Waste Management, Adelaide with the watering hole. There's a few others, and that includes Masters, of course. That includes the 17th Island Green at the Players. We'll root it in, plus 145 for the yes. A lot of books have boosts for that, so make sure you play there. Playing Justin Thomas, top pass champion, 6-1. Rory and Scheffler, obviously ahead of him, are the main competition, but maybe we can get JT in the mix. Gracerman, top debutant at 9-1. Brady's right. He leaves you hanging a lot, but look at the list of debutants. Good chance for Gracerman to be the top one. Nico Echevarria, top South American player at plus 240, and Nick Taylor, top Canadian at 4-1, plus 400 for him. So that is our card for the Players' Championship, which gets underway in the morning, very early, of course. They will start that. Was this a 1-point game
Big
here,
news.
Matthias? 48-47?
Big
Are they
news.
making a push here?
50-47. 50-47. 50-47. Let's go. We're down 3. Down 3.
Get the big fans
Let's
up.
go. Let's go.
Here. Here we go. Got to get involved. Here comes Rutgers. We got to get in the mix here. Let's go, baby. Now we're talking. 108-102. OKC leads the Celtics here with 2:55 to go. Jaylen Brown fouled out of this game. Not easy to guard SGA, that's for sure. So we have a tight one there. Man, this Sixer team, could we get Quentin Grimes with 29?
Mike, we got an old school fight. We got an old school center fight here in the NBA. Yeah, the big Plumlee on Phoenix gets in a fight. Wow, a big fight. But they drag each other down with Steven Adams from the Houston Rockets. A good old fashioned 7-footer big center guy.
I did see a clip of that. I did see a clip of that before. Steven
dragging
Adams
him
back
down.
in the mix. Quentin Grimes has 29. Played him for 30, Matthias, and there's only a minute and 30 left in this game. I'm going to get left with 29 points by Quentin Grimes. I could see it. He's going to end at 29. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM. We're back here.
Are you retired like me, and you just found out you owe the IRS a ton of money? Well, what would your life be like if they took your retirement savings away from you? They can do it, and your property. If you owe the IRS back taxes or you haven't filed in a while, the Tax Relief Line is here to help you. They can stop the IRS from taking your retirement savings. If you qualify, you could have your tax bill reduced to 0. That's right, if you're retired and you owe the IRS a lot in back taxes, you could have your entire tax bill reduced to 0 due. The IRS has now hired thousands of new employees, so they're ready to come after you. Don't let them take your retirement savings or property. Make this free call now.
800-917-1275. 800-917-1275. 800-917-1275. That's 800-917-1275.
Imagine combining the exciting investment opportunity of cryptocurrencies with the power of artificial intelligence to maximize your IRA, 401k, or other investment funds. Listen, if you're looking for ways to accelerate your retirement growth, Block Trust IRA has market-leading strategies and solutions for all levels of investors, from $1,000 to millions. And they partner with Bitcoin Magazine's #1 crypto trading fund in the world to maximize your returns. Plus, their team of IRA specialists is here to help you roll over your IRA or qualified retirement account to the new world of cryptocurrency investments. So make this free call right now to set up.
You've heard of smart bombs, smartphones, smart cars, smart watches, and smart glasses. Now you can add smart player, giving you sports gaming strategies and information 24/7. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Game over. Grimes 29. That sucks. That was a good hit, too, for him for 30 points. Good hit. 29 points. He took a billion shots. Can't say the volume wasn't there. That's what I always say to Joe, right? He had the volume. Guy took, how many shots he take? He's going to get this right. Grimes, 11 of 23 from the floor. 2 for 8 from 3. 29 points. He can't complain when the guy takes 23 shots. He had a chance for it. That's for sure. T-Wolves, Nuggets, and Knicks, Blazers, of course, coming up later tonight. Last check of everything going on in the college before we get out of here. Still a 3-point game. USC 50-47 over Rutgers. Villanova up 15 on Seton Hall. Georgia out to a 20-14 lead on Oklahoma. Kansas out to a 22-21 lead on UCF. Syracuse up 11-10 on SMU. I like Montana tonight, getting 2.5 against Northern Colorado in the Big Sky title game. And the Gauchos are up too, right? Yes, 32-25 at the half. Now, tomorrow is the biggest day of championship week. Pretty much every tournament's got 4 games, 2 in the afternoon, 2 at night. It's absolute craziness. So me and Joe are on tomorrow night, and we're going to have wall-to-wall games. We're going to be really yelling at each other tomorrow night.
1-point game. 1-point game.
Right, come on.
50-49.
Let's go here,
50-49. 15-2 run.
50-49. Tomorrow, early games here. Noon East tip for ACC. Duke laying 22.5 against Georgia Tech. St. John at noon East, 12.5 over Butler. Really good game in the Big Ten. Indiana and Oregon. They played a great game about 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half, 2 weeks ago in Eugene. It actually was last week. It was last Wednesday night, if I remember. -1.5 for Oregon to start the day. Iowa State, BYU. They played a hell of a game a week or 10 days ago in Ames. ISU -2.5. BYU beat them that night at their place. That's going to be a fun game. Arkansas, Ole Miss, early tip at the SEC. Mississippi, Ole Miss -3.5. You got some MAC games early. You've got some American games. South Florida, Wichita is early as well. Davidson, St. Louis at the A10. Northwestern, Wisconsin. Marquette, Xavier. Marquette -2.5. Kind of like Xavier there. They need the game. North Carolina -5.5 against Wake. Houston's laying 17.5 against Colorado, playing their third game in 3 days. They've had a couple of upsets here. They beat TCU. They beat West Virginia. They're not going to beat Houston. Can they cover 17.5? New Mexico laying 14.5 against San Jose State. Texas getting 6.5 from Texas A&M. Boise and San Diego State. Now, that's a hell of a game at the Mountain West. The second game of the day, I think that is. -1.5 for Boise. Iowa, Illinois tomorrow night while me and Joe are on. Baylor, Texas Tech. Stanford, Louisville. Mississippi State, Missouri. DePaul, Creighton. LaSalle, St. Joe's. Purdue's going to play the winner of this USC Rutgers game. So there is just wall to wall. UNLV, Utah State tomorrow night at the Mountain West. So there's a lot of games tomorrow. You said Northridge. Northridge is playing the winner of this Gaucho game, Matthias, tomorrow night. Northridge gets involved out at the Mountain at the Big
Northridge
West
having a big year for their basketball program this year, Mike. Big year for that Northridge basketball team, who's usually a losing program. They got a lot of wins. They're up there with the top of the table. Do they think they're definitely a hopeful bunch to win this tournament? It's all about winning the Big West. Everybody in that conference knows that. You can't get into the tournament unless you won the Big West tournament. That's it.
You got to be able to get there. That's the only way you're getting in. Although I've seen some people that have the San Diego Irvine loser being one of the bubble teams in the last 4 out. So anything's possible,
that would be
I guess, for those teams.
Historic if that happened.
Big West getting 2 teams in a tournament would absolutely be historic. For that conference to get 2 in.
But you know when it all comes down, they'll leave them out and they'll probably put a team
that's
like
the thing. Me and Pharrell were saying this today. Like, there's so many brand names on the bubble that they have a chance to put brand names in Dayton on Tuesday and Wednesday night. North Carolina, Indiana, all these teams. That they're going to take those over the Anteaters or San Diego any day of the week. They're going to take them over those teams. Matthias, great job as always. Great job by Brady Cannon and George Kurtz. We'll be back tomorrow night. Joe will be back with us. Tons of college basketball wall to wall. and round one of the players will be in the books. Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio. Cash some tickets. See you back here tomorrow on the Grid.
What's it take to get the winning edge? Not a lot. Just don't be dumb. Remember, it's smarter to be on Sports Grid. This is the Sports